So the Baltimore Ravens have added Jim Harbaugh to a 3-year extension, which
Jimmy
I love.
Or Johnny?
Yep. Damn it. I knew I was going to do it. It's Jim and John.
I was
those damn
Harbaugh.
You got me good on that one because I knew I was going to do it.
Boys.
Those Harbaugh boys, man. Excuse me. Let me get that correct. John Harbaugh to a 3-year extension. They didn't release the numbers on it, but a lot of coaching stuff, they normally don't release it too much as much. But making him only with division rival Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the longest tenured coach in the league. Harbaugh has a record of 172 and 104, 13-11 in the playoffs, and has won the Super Bowl back in 2012. Personally, I love the extension of John Harbaugh, not Jim, John. Got it right that time. But anyways, I personally love the contract extension for John Harbaugh. And I like it because a lot of times the guys stick around for too long. They get stale. They get boring. Players stop responding. John never has that. I never see sidelines where there's bad demeanor on the sideline. There's never players in the press conference saying, hey, ask my coach about that. Lamar Jackson seems like he absolutely loves him. And I like it because if you're listening to those mic'd up things, I think he has an absolute respect from the players and for the players. He's constantly gone up to Lamar and be like, what do you want to do here? How are you feeling? What's your thoughts on this? And that's ultimately what you need to do is trust your guys. That's what you have them for. And Lamar Jackson, let's face it, is an MVP caliber player. The biggest thing there's been for the Ravens is that they haven't been able to get over that hump. And let's face it, most AFC teams haven't. The Chiefs and the Bills, like you have a lot of gauntlet to get through in the AFC to get to that point, to get back to the Super Bowl. But every single year that John Harbaugh has pretty much been there, they've been relevant and they've been with it. But I want to go back to one more thing real quick about with like Lamar. I love like what I was saying before. I love those videos of him and Lamar like literally just talking on the sideline in a timeout. Hey man, what do you want to do? What are you seeing? What do you like? And that's what I think why players don't mind playing for them, because it's honest and it's real and he believes in what he's doing with the players. And Lamar respects the hell out of him. Lamar has always talked about how much he's had his back and how much they liked him. And so I think it's a great signing. I like Harbaugh a lot.
Oh yeah, having a great relationship with your quarterback and your coach is such a big thing. And as well, being able to relate to your players like he has, I think is such an underrated thing in the NFL too. Like we think, NFL guys, NFL coaches is going to be that Bill Belichick type where all of them are going to have the whistle in the mouth blowing. They're just like spitting, cursing, all that sort of stuff at their players, yelling them, get on their case. But really the best ones, especially in today's league, they just know how to relate to their guys. It's not a matter of, just because I'm older than you, I am somehow leagues above you and stuff like, no, like they respect like, hey, I need you to be at your best. You need me to be at my best. We each bring something to the table and they make it work. And I think as a coach, if you have that ability to relate to your players and to not have an ego where it's all about yourself, those are the guys that succeed best in the league, even if they don't win every year. But you have guys, though, that stay with their teams for a long time. Again, John, obviously, with the extension. Mike Tomlin, longest tenured. Andy Reid, same situation. Even when he was in Philadelphia, he was there for a decade plus, and now he's approaching a decade if he hasn't already been over there with KC. Those guys have the respect of their players. They know how to relate to them. And Andy Reid's old as dirt. So that's the other thing. Yeah. Like he's super old, but he gets his guys, and they really work well with him. And having that relationship and having that with your quarterback, I think, is good. And again, like you said, it's very hard to win a Super Bowl in football. There's a reason why in the history of the league there's been no three-peat champions. People think that anybody can go out there and win a Super Bowl. It's like, no, there has to be so much that goes into the season. You have to remain healthy. You have to sign the right players. Make sure that this person's not, tapering off at the right time. It is very difficult to make all that work. So just to be as competitive as the Ravens have been for this decade plus has been amazing. And I think Harbaugh brings the right culture and the right fit for Baltimore for sure. And I'm glad that he gets to stay there for another, another 3, 4, 5 years, another 3 years. So it's a great fit and I love it. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, shout out to NFL.com. I thought this stat was really cool. John Harbaugh is 62 years old, but he's only among 5 coaches in NFL history to lead his team to the postseason at least 12 times in his first 17 seasons. Pete Carroll, Bud Grant, Mike Holmgren, Mike McCarthy are the only guys to ever do that. Yeah. I thought that was really cool and speaks volumes to John Harbaugh, man.
Yeah, and again, for anybody out there that's like, well, they haven't won a Super Bowl since 2012, it's like, okay, but they still have been to the playoffs almost, if not every single season since then. So honestly, It's just a matter of a few pieces away. And again, for the teams that want to be, for the fans that get impatient, I get it. It sucks not winning the big one, but at the same time, do you want to stay irrelevant for 30 years, or would you rather be competitive and just be a few pieces away? And it just takes the right, it just takes the right firestorm for sure.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And honestly, can you name in the last 2 decades at that a time where the Ravens ever really sucked? The
Yeah.
Ravens have pretty much always been competitive, even if
Yep.
they don't make the playoffs, which is almost extremely rare. And they're in a tough division. The AFC North is a hell of a division. So I think that's
Probably
kudos to John Harbaugh. I mean, he
yeah.
keeps his team relevant.
It is the tough. I would say it is the toughest league or the toughest division in the league, just because of the fact of how physical it is. And again, the laughing stocks like Cincinnati and Cleveland, even they have years where they surprise and they're able to put some good teams together.
When
So,
they
but
play the AFC North, they come to play.
exactly, and it's going to be a
Yeah.
physical contest. It's going to be you're not going to walk out of there in one piece. You're going to be limping. It's going to be a hard fought contest for sure. And like you said, to early 2000s Ravens, it was that defense that got them through. And just to see them transition from that defensive powerhouse team to around the 2010s, they started shifting the focus to offense. And now they're one of the most dynamic offenses in the league. It's that interesting dynamic where you'd like to see maybe that intersection meet with the defense and offense. But, like I said, they're a few pieces away. They'll figure it out. And it would not surprise me at some point if Lamar and them win another ring. So.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, too, if you only get one Super Bowl in your life, how cool it is that you beat your brother for it.
Yeah, honestly, and that's the
I mean,
thing.
if you have to beat anybody, that feels pretty good. And like the
Yep,
Harbaugh say, who has it better than us? Nobody.
exactly. You got one brother that's got the national championship, and he's just like, hold
Yeah,
him up there. I'll raise you one.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So.
So,